Good afternoon. Today we are going to see the draw frame drafting arrangements, and we are going to see the various types of drafting arrangements starting from the conventional and look at the advantages and disadvantages of each of them and how they have evolved over a period of time. So before we start with the different arrangements, let us know the requirements of a good drafting ruler arrangement. With all the background that we have on drafting force and ruler slip and so on, so we will be able to understand this lecture better. We know that the rollers have to run smoothly. They should avoid roller slip. They should avoid roller lapping. They should be a good control of fibers during drafting, otherwise we would get an irregular sliver. The arrangement should accommodate small changes in fiber length and also provide better guidance for short fibers. The adjustments of roller setting should be quick and easy. It should be easy to maintain and clean, and also at the same time should not affect the efficiency of the working of the personnel or the operator on the machine. It should be quite easy for him, so he would be efficient in doing the job at hand. So let us begin with the 4/4 drafting arrangement. So when I say 4/4, the 4 bottom rulers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 top rulers. So 4 top rulers over 4 bottom rulers. That is how it is named. So what we see here is the rollers are all in one line. The nips are on one single line here. And what you can see is there's a 90 degrees angle when the sliver is going into the can. And there are 3 zones that we can observe here. So the roller nips are in the horizontal plane and the axis of the delivery can is perpendicular to the nip line. The sliver has to turn at an angle of 90 degrees before the sliver is coiled into the can, leading to irregularity. We've seen in the one of the lectures before that if the sliver has to turn through a large angle before entering the can, this can be cause for irregularity. And some changes have been made in the drafting arrangements that we're going to see later on. And at higher speeds, delivery speeds, this becomes more important. The drafts in the back, middle and front zone are 1.2, 1.7 and 2.9 respectively for a total draft of 6. So if you, when you multiply these 3 drafts, again I'm repeating, when we multiply these 3 drafts, we get a total draft of around 6. And you can also observe that maximum draft has been kept in the front zone. This draft here is called as a break draft, which we will see later. All the rollers are of the same diameter, what you can observe. Also, the second and third top rollers might experience slippage. So when we saw roller slippage during one of our lectures, we can easily see that there are forces acting on the top rollers of these two pairs of rollers, and these might experience some kind of slippage because of the fiber movement in this zone. And especially this is very relevant, or this happens too frequently in case of bulkier slivers being processed. So this is the drawback of this kind of an arrangement. So a new system was evolved, which is 3/4 arrangement. Here you can see 3/4 means 3 top rollers over 4 bottom rollers here. There is a large common top roller which is placed on the second and the third bottom rollers. This is the common top roller. This helps in separating the front and the back drafting zones, and therefore the system is effectively a 2-zone drafting system. Now what you observe here is this particular area or this zone is a neutral zone basically, and that is why we are able to separate the front and the back drafting zone. And what you observe, the difference from the previous 4/4 drafting zone is that earlier there were 3 drafting zones, front, middle and back. Here what you can see is there is just one draft which is applied between the back and this pair of rollers here. This acts like a nip, the top and the bottom roller at this place, and this particular blue line here shows the other nip, which is the sort of acts like a back roller nip for this particular front roller. So you can observe that there are only two drafting zones here. Since the second and the third roller pairs run at the same surface speed, there is no draft applied here, and the zone is a neutral zone. As I mentioned already, these two rollers would be running at the same surface speeds, and that is why there is no drafting happening in this area or this zone, and therefore it is only a two zone drafting system. So what have we achieved by doing this, making this roller as a common top roller, is that we have avoided roller slippage, and also because we have kept this as a neutral zone, there is no chance of this top roller experiencing some kind of forces in this zone, and we are avoiding roller slippage here. The disadvantage that one can see here is the nip to nip distance is increased. As you can observe here, if this roller was exactly over this top roller over here, the nip line would be somewhere at this place. The nip line would be somewhere here, and that nip to nip distance would be reduced. But now you can see, since this roller is kept in this manner, the nip line has shifted from here to here. So it makes it unsuitable for short fibers to be processed. If there are shorter fibers, what you can see is it has to travel this much more distance from the earlier nip line which would have been there to the current nip line, um, which is at a larger distance from the back roller nip, and so it might be unsuitable for processing short fibers. So now we come to the next system, that is 3/3 arrangement, and let us see the advantages here. Larger rollers in the design, you can see the diameter of this front roller has increased, runs more smoothly, especially the front rollers. What we have observed earlier is that larger the rollers, it's better, it's stable, and it can be run at a slower speed or RPM, which makes the bearings of this roller, you know, it wears out over a longer period, and it lasts you for a longer time. So you are saving on the you are making this system more stable by making these rollers a bit larger than normal. So larger rollers reduce the tendency of lapping also at the front roller. Lapping, as we have seen, is a defect where the fibers tend to stick to the um, rollers and form a lap here, and therefore this tendency also is reduced when the rollers are larger in size. The disadvantage in the system is that the large rollers increase the nip spacing. Again, the previous problem is repeated here. Large rollers increase the nip spacing, and therefore a special guide rail, which is, you can see, this is a one more sort of additional thing that you can see here, which is known as a pressure bar. It is kept in the main drafting zone. So how does it help? Pressure bar in the front zone provides guidance to the short fibers by deflecting them due to the frictional force. So because we have increased the roller diameter, what happens is this nip to nip distance, I cannot bring it closer than, once this roller starts touching this roller, that is the limit that is reached. So I cannot again process short fibers over here. But due to this problem, that nip to nip distance would be large, and I need a better guidance, what I do is I introduce a pressure bar in the main drafting zone. How it helps is it deflects the fibers from the normal path of the fiber movement, and because of this, they tend to the slow moving fibers that are there, or if the floating fibers are there which would have otherwise, just be pulled by the front roller out of turn, those fibers are slowed down by deflecting them at this place, and they are avoided from reaching the front roller nip out of turn. And that is why, To a certain extent, this pressure bar helps in controlling the irregularity. So now we look at the next system, that is by Ritas 4/3 drafting system. 4 top rollers, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and which is placed on 3 bottom drafting rollers. So let us see the features. Each roller is provided with a scraping bar. Here there are scraping bars we have seen in the video also earlier, and a suction tube is there which allows to take away all the fly and the fibers that tend to stick to the rollers, and they are all carried away. Dust release during this drafting is also carried away by the suction tubes. So that we have already mentioned that drafting is a good place to get rid of most of the dust, because there's a huge amount of friction that is there between fibers and the rollers, and due to which the dust might be released. And earlier, in the earlier conventional system, there was no way to remove this dust. It would just be released into the atmosphere. So here, by applying this suction, all the dust can be removed immediately. Scraping bars are intermittently lifted from the top rollers to allow smooth removal of fibers stuck to the rollers. So scraping bars frequently are, just pulled away or lifted, so that whatever gets collected over here, we have seen that again. Just reminding you, it's there in the video. You can see it. The scraping bars are just lifted, and whatever gets collected here is removed by suction. Fibers in the dust removal system are cleaned manually or by wiper. Whatever gets accumulated on the filter, those fibers or those small short, very short fibers and dust and everything is removed either manually over a period of time, or there is an automatic wiper which so has to maintain constant cleaning efficiency of the filters. So this wipers see to it that the filters are kept clean. So let us look at the advantages of this kind of arrangement. There are 2 top rollers on the front bottom roller. Still it is a 2 drafting zone system. One drafting zone is between these 2 rollers, and the second drafting system drafting zone that is there, it is in this, between these 2 rollers. There is one additional top roller which has been added here. The additional top roller ensures that the drafted web, whatever web comes out over here, is pressed against the bottom roller surface and follows this particular curvature. Otherwise, if this was the nip line, then it would not follow this path. So by adding this, the system has taken care of the nip to nip spacing. Although this is a large roller here, we can see that nip to nip distance can be shorter, or I can now process shorter fibers, which was a disadvantage in the 3/3 drafting system that we saw earlier. Also, what you can see is there is a pressure bar in the front zone, and also another observation is that the delivery roller nip line, that is this nip, the final nip, and the axis of the can are at an angle of which is less than 90 degrees, and this minimizes the diversion as the sliver enters the can coiler tube. So this would reduce irregularity in the output sliver. Also, what you can observe is the roller nips are at different planes. All the nips, they are not in one single line as in the conventional system. They would follow some sort of curvature over here. Pressure bar, as I've already mentioned, it is there in the front drafting zone. So now we come to the next type of arrangement, that is a 5/4 arrangement. There are 5 top rollers, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, over 4 bottom rollers, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, if you observe over here, the zone, the draft is applied between this nip line, between 2 and 3, which is known as the brake draft zone, and the second draft is applied between this 4 and 5, which is known as the main draft zone. And you can see the roller diameters are large enough. Also, what you can see is there is no draft here in this zone, which would, just like the previous system where we saw that it is separated from the back and the front, that is brake draft and main draft zone are separated. This is a neutral zone, and because of this we are avoiding the top roller slippages. Plus the nip lines are taken care of. I can have close settings in both these zones because of so many rollers which are placed, and roller lapping problem is also solved because of the larger rollers. So basically what is tried here is all the problems with the previous system are taken care of, and even the rollers, the extra rollers that are there, like this one over here. So these rollers would help in maintaining the contact between the fiber and the bottom roller so that they move around the curvature. Also, you can see the pressure bar in the main drafting zone. So large diameter bottom rollers, they provide good contact for the fibers and therefore better guidance. The position of the bottom rollers are fixed. As you can see over here, these two bottom rollers, these are the main bottom rollers, they are fixed, and the top rollers are adjusted for changing the settings. So if I want to change the setting between say in this zone for length, then I will move this roller to over here. The rollers are so arranged that the fibers follow a curved path. Only two zones, main and the brake draft zone, in spite of the large number of rollers in the system. Pressure bar in the main drafting zone, and also you can see almost vertical delivery of slivers to the delivery can, almost vertical. The can would be somewhere over here, and the angle is not even less than 90, it is almost vertical. That means it tends towards zero. So absolutely no diversion of the sliver. As soon as it comes out, it will enter the can. The sliver turning angles become more critical as the delivery speeds are increasing. As we already know, as the delivery speeds are increasing, there are chances if the sliver diversion is too much, then it may lead to a lot of irregularity. So this turning angle also has been taken care of. It is almost um, tending towards zero. The nip distances are changed by moving roller number 2 and 4. The nip distance, as I already mentioned, 2 would change the back roller back zone setting, and here you can change move this 4 to change the setting, the nip setting between in the main drafting zone. So that's it for today. We have seen the different drafting systems and how they have evolved over a period of time, and how they have been able to tackle uh, some of the problems that were seen in each drafting system, starting from the conventional 4/4. And that is it for today. Thank you.